Test. Yeah, you can hear me. Blah, 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 blah. The last thing, I just need to play some music and then we can get started. Here we go. All right. And then I'm just going to mess with the camera for a little bit. But hello. We are getting started today. It's been another week. Last stream, we finished doing all the line art in one really huge session. I did not mean for it to be so long, but it is what it is. No, focus, it can stay auto. Pulling up the exposure. Then we're gonna fine tune the brightness. A little high, then we're gonna like bump up the contrast. Make the shadows a little deeper. Let me put away the menu so you can see what I actually look like without the bright white screen. There we go. So I have a second light. I got it back from my older brother. I let him borrow it for like a card game that he played once and then didn't get it back for like an entire year. But now we have the dual light set up again. After, I don't think I've ever streamed with my dual light setup. Actually, that's not true. I forgot I've been doing this for 2 years now? 3 years? I don't remember when I started. Because originally it was the traditional artwork, which I did over here, in this section. But now it's like piled high with comics, and I need to read all my comics. I might do that tonight. We'll see. I might also go for like a 2-hour walk. I have a lot of stuff planned tonight. And there's issues with my car. A lot of things are happening. I did clean up my desk though. I mean, it's mostly clean. Let me move this, move that. I spilled coffee like 2 seconds ago, so it's not clean, but anyways, yeah. Let me think. So let me pull up the drawing while I think, so you guys have something to look at besides like a very boring looking menu. There's an autosave. I'm gonna discard the autosave because I think that was me just playing around with the file. I really don't want to lose the Duke of Arrakis. The Muad'Dib. The Azor Ahai. No, that's Game of Thrones. Yes, he's still here. Okay. Yeah, this was where I saved it at. So yeah, we finished the line art, so now we're gonna start slapping some colors together. I think I might do a little tweak on the line art. Like I'm noticing how bold his head is. It's a little bit too much. Aside from that, we should be good. Yeah. Yeah, it should be pretty good. That's good as I like it to be. Yeah, let me think. We did that line art last week. This week we're going to be doing the flats, coloring, a little bit of tweaking to the line art. Did I do anything particular over the weekend? No, but this weekend I actually have a show to go to. I'm going to be watching Nick Mullen and Raleigh. Let me double check. Yeah, that's going to be this Saturday. My older brother's a huge Come Down and Adam Freeland show podcast show, newscast show. Who knows? He's a big fan of those comedians. I've always been a little bit hesitant. Like I like them, but they're a little bit too much for me sometimes. But you know, my brother likes them, so I really want to go there and enjoy it with them. Have a good time with my brothers. Hopefully, or we'll like stab each other. You never know when it comes to brothers. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Tickets were cheap too. Like that. Sometimes it surprises me how cheap tickets are, because whenever I think of tickets, it's like Hamilton. Hamilton was like $200 for like a seat anywhere near the stage. But then you go to like a regular show for a comedian, and it's like, hey, $15, $20 for like 2 hours. And I'm like, that's not true. Usually shows are like an hour flat. But I think they even referred to it as that, like they just call it like their hour. I have an hour's worth of material. That's like the benchmark before like you can start shopping it around for specials on Netflix and whatever. Why am I talking about like I know anything about comedians? Anyways, we're gonna be moving on into the line art tweaks. Like I mentioned, the only one I really want to do is the how bold his head is. I think that's the only one that's really like sticking out to me. The time lapse of the video went out this Monday, so if you missed it last time, you can catch up with that, or you can watch it a full stream if you feel like watching 2 streams at once. I'm not gonna say no, but you know it's kind of crazy. But do what you want. I'm not gonna be like, no, don't watch my content. that's a smart idea. Ooh, I was also thinking of experimenting. Krita, I was really lazy to actually update my Krita. I like literally for months I left it alone, avoiding updates. But they updated it so there's now like a specific brush tool, which is, you know, hilarious. But that's the thing. I think like most painting apps have like a dedicated pet eraser tool button, but Krita doesn't, which is fine because there's like a eraser button. Like it's very easy to swap your brush into an eraser. But now they have like a setting that you can have like a dedicated brush for erasing, which I do need because I literally use one tool for erasing it all the time. It's like very special cases where I need like a brush eraser. Usually that comes up during like the erasing stage, or sorry, the painting stage and rendering stage. But even then, I still end up using like this really hard line tool. Benefits of that is that it would be like identical to your. You could switch to like any of your brushes, and then as soon as you tap the eraser button, it switches to your actual dedicated eraser brush. So you know, like there's some like actual eraser tools in this thing. Yeah, right here, like actual erasers. I don't like how soft they are on the edges, so that's why I use like a hard line tool. Even like the sharp one, it's just got like weird shape to it. I don't like the squareness of it. So just like a hard line tool, a hard erasing tool is what's preferred. This is like directly like a soft eraser. So you can have like literal dedicated brushes. I think the one that I have it's identical to this hard fill-in brush. I think that's what it's called. It's called Basic 1. So it's just like a hard fill circle, no, you know, lightness, no nothing. It just automatically fills it in at max strength. I made a copy of it and then set the default to be an eraser. So default starting up Krita, it's always an eraser. Just because it's my preferred tool. The only issue is that sometimes you can get a little streaky. I don't know how to replicate it, but it can get a little streaky. Oh, and it's a little gappy because it's a circle and it's not completely smooth and blending. Sometimes you can get like little tiny little gaps like that. That was just me throwing the brush around without thinking. But sometimes that little like gap can show up and it bothers me sometimes. There's always something with the tools, you know. Everyone is a critic. So it's a cool sounding feature. I might think about doing it, but we'll have to see. It's like a setting you have to turn on. And it's probably gonna mean I have to go back into my like tablet and reset all the configuration. It's not that dramatic. Basically, you turn it on, you choose a hotkey, and you know, like a letter that you press, and then you go from there. You know, doing any kind of work is like, it stresses me out. Especially when it comes to art, you know, like it's hard to really push yourself to do stuff when you're as an artist, unless you literally have to, which is, you know, never a good state of mind to be in whenever you're doing art. Some people can do it a lot better than others, you know, like obviously there's commercial artists and things like that. And I think most artists like lean towards that direction. They want to get to that area because they don't have like the luxury to be an artist just for fun. You know, you have to actually have a career, and no career that you pursue is gonna like give you the time to pursue art. If only Bernie Sanders, you know, like 32 hours, maybe you would get some time to actually draw. and, you know, pursue private endeavors. But, you know, that's more of just like an idea. That's more of him throwing it out so there's like a background to do later down the line, kind of like the Green New Deal or whatever it was, where it's like it's not necessarily that they think it's gonna pass, but it's so in the future whenever they write laws about it, there's kind of like something to go on. Like somebody can look back at this and it's like, okay, so this is what they were thinking last time they tried to do it. So here's how we can like do a little tweak and make it a little better and make it a little bit more something we can move towards. And it also kind of pushes the dialogue towards it a little bit better because, you know, if you only let other people set the terms, and, you know, like even if it fails, it kind of sets a dialogue where, you know, all the Congress people are trying to talk about like, how do we deal with this one thing that this person suggested? Instead of like, how do we ignore that and move towards an entirely better direction? Which is always an issue. Why am I talking about it? Like I know anything? I don't know. Sorry, I just got a weird email. What in the world? I have like a business email and then like an email where all the scrap stuff goes through, but somehow it's always my freaking business email that gets really crazy advertisements, and it's really obnoxious. I don't know how I got into like a mailing list or whatever. Okay. The head has been fixed. It has been de-domed, you could say, if you were a silly person like me. We're going to now go to the cover, and the first thing we're going to do is just clean this up a bit. Fill this out a little bit more, because it's a lot bigger than it used to be. We're going to use the fill brush. Not by a lot, actually. It's just this like little scratch of his coat. A little bit over here he got taken out. A little bit on the sides. A little bit more in the corners. A little bit more on the dough. Why am I doing that? I don't know. Because we're actually gonna have to do something else entirely. I think I was just coming up with ideas. I'm gonna turn everything off. Beep. Sorry for blinding you for just a moment. Turning off all the lights and extra stuff. And even turn off the pew. We're just gonna select this. Okay. So we're gonna select from opaque. No, hold on, I'm doing this wrong. We're gonna magic wand everything outside of this. We're also gonna turn off the Omar cover, so yes. Now we've selected everything. The only issue is this area here is completely open, so we're gonna have to grab around that. Or I guess deselect from here. So we're gonna grab this. Which one's the subtraction? Your subtract, okay. We're just gonna like make a smooth area. What? Sorry, the app is glitching. Crit is like crapping out on me a little bit. We can tweak it later. Ooh, actually, we're gonna have to go further. We're gonna go for a second dip. Because I forgot that this actually peeks inside of the coat, so just cut this out as well, this huge section. Bip, bip, bip. Bip, 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 bip. Oh, hold on. Where do I close it? Oh, I didn't go far enough. We might have to do one more pass. Actually, no, that's good. I think we might be good there. Yeah, let's go ahead and filter or selection. We're gonna grow the selection just a little bit, maybe like, let's go 2 pixels. Then we're going to invert the selection. So now this should be pretty deep into the line art, a good like fill. And then we're gonna have to cut out this hole in the arm, but we can do it one at a time. What color we're gonna switch to the black and white. We're just gonna go and jump right into that. Let's see, where is? Here we go. 50%. Yes, there it is, right there. What is happening? Fill. Oh, we're not on the layer, that's why. There we go. All right, so now he's filled in at 50%. We can tweak it from here, so it's gonna quickly select and deselect. And then we're just gonna like trim some areas. I like doing it this way because it fills in a little bit of the line art. Cause so I had a lot of trouble with the old technique where I would only have like some of the line art not filled in. So you would see like bright little gaps in the line art where there's no shading behind it. And this technique grabs the line art as well as anything behind it. So that's what I like about it. It just has like a little bit of issues with like stray marks. Because, you know, like it's very difficult to do like completely clean line art. You know, the cleaner the line art, the easier you'll have of like filling it in. You know, you don't always need like the cleanest line art. You don't always need to be super clear. My dog just walked in, and there you go. See, right out. He saw I had no food and was like, "Nah, I'm out. Peace." This little pocket here. Like I said, I want to keep the line art pretty well filled in. This is going to be the base, so this is the important part to get, and then we can start like slapping around all the other colors. Might need to do some more studying on how people do their work, because this is just my flow and I haven't thought about it in a little bit. I think the last time I thought about it was around, how many vampires have I done? I think Talib, which was the 8th or 9th. What are we at? We're at 11. Before this was the Romeo. Before that was Chance. 9. Yeah, Talib would have been 8. I think he was the last time I really like broke down and thought about like how do I do coloring? How am I going to color this character? I think that's when I first got into gradient maps, which has been a very interesting experience, but I think there's something that I missed. So we're gonna maybe tweak it, or you know, later on. Until I'm done with Omar, we're gonna keep doing the same technique that I've been doing. Which is just, you know, rendering everything in black and white. That's the part that's been helpful. I do like that I've started doing the gray, black and white filtered, putting this at 50% opacity or 50% gray. And then we can, because from when you have like a perfect gray right in the middle, you can better differentiate. Okay, these are going to be the darker areas. These are going to be the lighter areas. It makes it easier to think in that way. Other techniques like you can get a little. Hold on. You can get a little distracted by like some of the other colors. Like I think originally I would just put it in whatever color I felt like that was like dark and neutral. And then I would work from there, adding purples for the shadows. And then I might add like some kind of effect to like cover over everything. That was my usual technique before, which isn't, you know, like a problem. Whatever works for you. but I feel like it doesn't get to where I want it to be. Like it's not there. It's close, but it's not there. Like I think right now my biggest issue with my technique is like I have to make a copy of the flats and then the shadows. Then I have to cut them all into individual sections where it's like, here are the coat shadows. The real way that I've seen other artists do it, like Mark Brunet, is that he separates them by color sections. Like he gets the reds all together, he gets the blues all together, the yellows all together. But my issue with that is that I have many shades of like a similar color, and I don't understand how you can manipulate them all to be one shade. I mean, I guess like it's better to keep them more unified as far as like a palette goes, but most of the time I don't have an issue with like palettes that are similarly toned. Like maybe it's just the way he likes to do it is like very simple palettes where it's like there's red sections, there's blue sections, there's green sections. But the way I do palettes are like, you know, like there's one big strong color, then there's like a ton of different like other neutral colors like browns, there's oranges, there's accent colors. Some of them are really strong, some of them aren't so much. And that's the part where I'm like, you know, how does that workflow work for what I've got going on? There we go. There we go. Those are the little gaps cut out. Let me now take just one last little look at everything to one. Oh my goodness. I'm like stuttering over myself. I think I've had like very bad sleep, and today's like the first time I've gotten good sleep, but it's, you know, not enough to account for several days in a row of bad sleep. I need more. Maybe tomorrow I'll be like 100% if I get good sleep today. We'll see. I'm gonna fill that in because there's no reason for there to be like a little gap where a piece of his ear is missing. This out here I can see. Nothing too crazy. And there's this section where I kind of like freehanded it. So the only thing I'm really like not sure about is this section here where it's like it completely connects. Although I guess we don't really have to worry about it because this part is like definitely lost over the chair seat. So this is more just me filling it in for clarity for myself while we work in this like halfway section. Okay. I think we're good. All right, so he's set. Jesus, that scared me. What was I just thinking about? I was thinking about my lack of sleep, but I was also thinking about the way I do color. So yeah, I like having this like halfway at 50%, but I'm wondering what steps I need to consider in the future for making the gradient map flow work a little smoother. Instead of having this section where I cut everything into pieces, like there's got to be like a much better way. But I'll look into it. And I'll do more research behind the scenes. And then I always feel a little lacking when it comes to skin tone. Skin tone's super difficult for me because I have taking a step back, thinking about my words again. So I've always had the workflow of, you know, back when I was doing traditional art, you know, like almost entirely, 100% traditional art, you know, notebook, paper, and coloring pencils was always my jam. I would always just use peach. Then I learned a little bit better on how to use like peach, pink, you know, just a little bit extra. You know, put a little more depth to what I was working on as far as like colors. But now I'm kind of trying to like consider how do we bring that up a notch, because, you know, like I see all these beautiful character renditions where they have, you know, like whites, they have gray neutral colors, they have like strong purple grayish colors, where they'll do like a crazy ambient lighting, and I want that, but I don't know how to achieve it. You know, I don't know exactly which direction to go. Like, do I want to start with like a random color and just try to make everything work with the random color? You know, is there like planning or something that goes along with it? Do people start with like a base skin tone and then just apply like a bunch of lighting layers in order to come up with like the real color that would come from the two of them? Like, you know, like if you start with a white, pale, completely porcelain skin, and then you put them in a room with a bunch of orange light, you know, are they gonna automatically combine into the perfect color, or do people already have a plan for that? That's what I'm wondering. Where do we go from there? Also, how do they apply blush? How do they apply, you know, how do they tone the skin? Like that's also like a far off goal. First, I want to just figure out this gradient mapping thing. Then next, I want to consider, you know, like how do we really like pump up like skin tone? How do we really like just create some beautiful skin? That sounds weird, but yeah, how do we get those like skin tones and skin rendering that really feels good? And one thing I can immediately think of is like adding a lot more like red ambiance, or what is it? It's the word whenever like it bleeds through things. Ambient occlusion, that's what it is. So red ambient occlusion, where it bleeds through some of the thinner areas of your skin. So ears, you can see a lot of red in. Nose, because it's mostly cartilage, you can see a lot of red in. So just figuring out where I can apply those things to, I think will help. I think eyelids too, but that's just conjecture. I don't remember. That's just me spitting off the dome. All right. So now we're going to just apply a bunch of new color layers. This is now the base. We're gonna call this Omar flat base. Gonna make it a red tag because that's what I do for colors. I'm gonna group this already too. I don't know where we're going, but it's probably gonna need a lot of layers. So I'm gonna start with the coat. There we go. Thought I felt a mosquito. It's becoming spring. There's pollen all over my car. I want to cry. All the bugs are waking up. It's not great. It's not fun. So he has like a very blindingly bright red jacket. And I kind of want to keep it that red, maybe a little bit more dim. This was more of an issue of just like, I didn't have, this was like my first marker work. Like I was still figuring out how to do like brown skin tones that weren't really super strong. The issue was that a lot of the markers that I had were extremely bold and colorful, which is great when you want those colors, but whenever you want something a little bit more subtle, it's hard to do that. Like sorry, I keep burping. Doing Vampire the Masquerade pieces, you know, you want like gloomy neutral tones because, you know, like it's a realistic world, you know, you don't really have these flashy characters. You can, but you know, like it's not really the goal and intent. You can get too flashy, too colorful very quick. Especially with like the community, there's a lot of like prudes who are like very much purist, where they want it to be, you know, that specific tone, and anybody that dips too far out of that tone gets really, you know, gets on their nerves. And as a fanboy, I get it. You know, you want to keep that grim, nasty look to everything. Like you want everything to look like Luther, or you know, BBC crime shows. You want that dark griminess to the city, to all the characters that exist within it. So, you know, like having a guy in this bright red suit is going to be a little like, what's happening? Why are we just acting like that guy isn't in a bright red suit? Let me see. I keep messing with everything incorrectly. I have notes, but I haven't messed with them in like 2 whole sessions. So yeah, we're gonna go for a bright red, but I'm gonna see if we can like tweak it to something a lot more, not completely neutral, but something a little bit more realistically bright red, you know, like not blinding, hopefully. So we're just gonna slap it on. We're not gonna worry about whether or not it's in the lines or not. Not yet. It's also gonna match his hat. How does he have a hat that perfectly matches? I don't know. It came with the catalog. We should probably do the skin next. I'm gonna do that right below this layer. I want him to have like almost like a purplish gray tone. Like because with black skin, I mentioned I talked a lot about it in the last stream with like making sure that your characters look different from Caucasian and European ethnicities. And this is a section where like there's a lot more freedom than just brown, as a lot of people might imagine. You can really do a lot of crazy stuff with black skin tones, because, and I think I've talked about this specifically before too, but there's a lot of different hues of black skin. You know, like there's light skin and dark skin, but there's also, you know, people of more reddish hue. There's people of more orangish, bright orangish hue. I think there's even like there's even like a genealogy chart that shows that there's a strange overlap of like orangish toned people from like certain parts of Africa, then orangish skinned people like in certain parts of China and Asia, and then like people all the way in South America. Like there's a weird like strip of orange hued people. And I don't know enough about genealogy to like really tell you why anything is the case. The point is, you can have like a lot of different tones within brown skin. Like Talib is another African gene character. I'm trying to think of the word for that. Hang on, I'm gonna pull up Talib for this point. Well, should I ignore it? Probably, but I feel like talking. Let's see. BTM. Here you are. Let me just pull out a picture. Let me not do the whole file, or else this computer might start peeing itself. Here you go. So here we go. Talib is one of my favorite pieces that I've done in this entire like series, because I think I really got a hang on making sure everything was like this weird foreboding and grim tone, even though I didn't have to resort to using like too many blacks. Oh, this audio is really hurting my ears. Sorry, something about the guitar was really like harsh on my ears. It wasn't harsh, but it was like, you know, like it was very like grating. It was like on the edge of my ears. Sometimes sounds can just be like that. Okay, so yeah. So Talib, I have like a very pinkish, orangish, yellowish tone, because he's I was about to use the old terminology for it, but he's a quarter black, I think. There's like a French old school term for it. There was like a class of people, because he was from this 1800s. So obviously, the words they used to describe him back then, even in France, weren't, you know, words that I'm going to repeat out loud. Wait. Whew. But yeah, or at least, you know, I'm not comfortable saying it. You know, historians and people like that can describe it. But point is, so yeah, he was he's very light skinned. You know, got that orangish hue, got that pinkish hue. This character, I'm going for more of like a rosier, purplish tone. He's not gonna be like dark skin, but he is darker. I think the only other character I can think of that's actually I can pull out the other two just while we're talking about it, because I think, let me think. So Talib, Omar, Maurice, and Sierra are the other African characters. Ooh, I forgot Masa. Masa was really early on. I'm gonna use the notebook sketch, because I'm not very proud of the eventual like picture that I made of Masa. We might have to go back and do that one. But I love the notebook sketch though. Okay, so these are all the like Afro ethnicities, I guess, would be a term I could use. So we have Omar, we have Talib, we have Maurice, we have Sierra, and we have Masa. So I think Masa and Talib would both have like very sunny orangish skin. I think Talib is very noticeably like light skin. Like it's very like just like a, you know, like I said, he's a quarter black, so he has like a very just like mixed complexion. Masa I think would have like full Afro ethnicity. Again, she's Iranian. There's a weird like little crossover, or weird is probably not the right word to use it, but there's a crossover of, you know, African migrants and, you know, the people of Iran. And I don't know too much about the ethnicity. I think it's one of the groups where they just believe that they are Iranian and recognized as Iranian. They don't really know of, or, you know, identify as their Afro roots. But yeah, she's in that little mix of, you know, she has like a dusky complexion, a little bit more towards like a perfect middle tone, I would say. Sierra is also, I think, let's see, she's like half, yeah, she's half black, half, what is her mother? In my head, this is all my own head canon. Anyways, please, where is she? Here she is. Trying to think. I know, okay, so I think she's half black, a quarter Brazilian, and a quarter Canadian. Wait, Canadian is not an ethnicity, quarter white. European, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Actually, I might have her bio somewhere. Give me like 2 seconds. While I completely refuse to actually work on the art. This is why art takes so long. We're just always distracting ourselves with unimportant things to avoid actually working. Let me see. She was born to a family Canadian fashion house. Mother was famous South American supermodel. No, it doesn't look like I put. Oh wait, hold on. Maybe it's in like the Mask and Mean. No, okay. But yeah, so I think her mother is South American and some kind of European, maybe like Argentinian, somewhere around that region. That just makes sense in my head. Argentinians are very noticeably mixed with a lot of European. Why? Let's not think about it. Let's not think about what happened to the Germans that escaped from Germany after World War II. And then her father is just African Canadian, Afro Canadian. Yeah, he's just a black man who is very wealthy, is very well established in Canada. You know, married to a supermodel, and so she's like a blend of like 3 cultures. I don't know how to say it. Anyways, she's a lot of mixed. So she has a very orangish, sunny complexion. I guess very similar to. I think Talib has maybe a little bit more rose in his palette, and I think I also had like a very hard time. If you look at her face, I actually had to completely redraw her face digitally because I just like massacred it with the markers. Like I said, it was still very early into me drawing with markers, so it's very hard to get like a lot of those subtle colors. I think by now I had finally gotten they have like a pastel palette that has a lot more subtle colors that you can build on. But this one didn't work. I overworked the paper and it started falling apart. Then I had to paint over it and it just wasn't working. So we had to do her face like entirely digitally. I think I got her complexion a little bit more to where I was hoping. She's like very tan and has a little bit of that like greenish hue to it too. I think I wanted that consciously because of her mother. But yeah, this is Sierra. And then Maurice is dark. He is the only one that I considered actually being like dark as can be. I think there was a pretty obvious he's of the Shadow clan, so I just made his overall palette very dark. You know, he's wearing a very dark blue jacket, he's wearing a very dark black shirt, so I just made everything dark. Like that was the entire idea. I don't think it was just like because he's of the Shadow. Is more like I was thinking of the color palette, everything's dark, you know, like keep everything down in dark. except for his eyes, which are like very piercing blue. And you know, like the idea there is like, you know, whenever if you're like ever trapped in a completely dark room with him in shadows, and then all you can see is just his eyes and maybe his teeth. I thought that was like a very terrifying silhouette, terrifying but fun silhouette. But yeah, he's probably the darkest character we will end up doing. And he's gonna be in an entirely dark room where he's in shadows, and there's gonna be like club lights, so you know, like it's dark except for like the colored lights. So we'll have to consider how to make him show up at all. But anyways, just a little sidebar. Just felt like in talking about like all the different hues that you can do. So the ones that I mentioned were like orange-ish, purplish hues, greenish hues, tannish or reddish hues. It's like you have a lot of option of like which direction you want to go for African skin tones, and I think it's very it's fun actually, like to have that much room to just play around with colors. You know, like it's almost like it makes European palettes just seem a lot less impressive, because it's like it's very simply like pink. Maybe you could have a little bit more of a tannish pink or an orangish pink, and that's around it. But also maybe that's just me being limited in my own thinking, you know, like I could, you know, maybe there's just more palettes that I need to think about. I think the reason a lot of people default to European tones is just it's a lot, you know, easier to fill out all the skin if all you have to do is just like one bright tone, instead of, you know, like having to work the other way around where it's, you know, you start with a dark tone and you lighten it up, and you know, you do a lot more complex coloring and reflective light. And you know, paper starts white, you know, like it's very easy to, you don't have to do a lot if you have like a pale complexion. That's my thinking anyways. That's why I think a lot of people just default to it. Other than, you know, like just natural preference for, not natural, what's the word? It's the word for like inherent preference of like white skin. There's like a, not a scientific, but like a educated phrase for it. It's kind of like how people with pretty faces automatically get assumed to be innocent of crimes. There's like a reverse for that. So yeah, I went down a long rabbit hole just to say we're gonna go with the purplish hue. That was my entire point. That was all I was just saying. Or at least just to start, I think we're gonna go with the purplish hue. I think we're gonna gray it down, dull it down. He has very like dull skin. I think either because that's just naturally how his complexion is, or because he's a vampire and his skin is literally dead. That second one might actually make the most sense if we just like theme it that way. I don't know why I'm fine trimming everything right now. We need like a bunch more colored layers. No, just in case I said anything that might make anybody uncomfortable. I'm doing my best with the knowledge that I have. You know, I'm open to being corrected. These aren't things that I know anything about. These are just things that I basically just looked up on a Wikipedia page, and then, you know, just my own experiences of trying to figure out how to color different kinds of people. It's like I've heard a lot of conversations about like how, you know, people are depicted incorrectly. So I think there's some kind of part of me that really wants to like pay attention to that, and like how can I do it correctly? You know, like how do I paint and draw black people in a way that isn't like stereotypical and is very respectful of, you know, of the people that I'm depicting. And I try. I can't act like I know 100% a way to do it. I just kind of like cross my fingers and hope. You know, it's very nice whenever I see like people who are happy and, you know, are enjoying their depictions. Like I don't think it's Tekken, but there's like games where, or like anime, or just various media properties where sometimes I'll see a video where it's like they did, you know, a depiction of this kind of character that's very uniquely good. You know, like it's kind of like American voices in anime. It's like most anime has like okay or really bad American dubs, but then there's anime that like really stand out where it's like they actually have really solid like American dubs. Like Fully Cooley has a very fun dub. Full Metal Alchemist has a great dub. Then you get more like normal stuff like Naruto, which is just like, it's very standard voice acting in Naruto anime. I think the one that drives me nuts is Dragon Ball. I cannot watch the Japanese one. Like, it is just insane. Like, I don't know how... What is happening? Why can't I color or anything? I'm trying to color this area, but it's not filling in. Oh, I see. I forgot how the layers work. Because Goku has like a kid's voice. Even in Dragon Ball Z, where he's like a fully grown adult, he has a very kid voice, like high pitched. I'm trying to think of a saying that that Goku says, "Hey, let's fight. You look strong." Like, that's his voice the entire anime, except, you know, in the Japanese version, and it's like, it's just normal in Japan. But for me, I'm just like, this is insane. Like, I cannot take anything seriously. And I mean, it's an anime, so I shouldn't be taking anything seriously, but this is awful. Like, frankly, like, it is just bad. But I think it's just, you know, like, they have a lot of respect for the person who voices it, you know, because they did it ever since like the start when he was actually a kid, and it made a lot more sense. But to me, it's just like, okay, but this is silly. Like, we are watching maybe one of the most incredible fights between, you know, Goku and Majin Buu, and he has a baby voice the entire time. It's like, I don't get it. I can't do it. I'm gonna give him his golden eye. Now, his golden eye is actually more of like a brass color. So hold on, I have like a brass ring. So like this like material where it's not like very shiny, it's kind of rough, it's got like a patina on it where it's like got a little bit of grime to it. That's intentional. You can like pay for it to look a little nastier. Nastier isn't the right word, but you know what I mean. Like, it has like a little bit more scruff to it, and I like the way it looks, so that's why I paid for it. That's kind of like the tone I want for the eye, so I'm just gonna like quickly slap together what I want it to be. Maybe like a little bit of like this greenish tone. Definitely a little bit more of like a darker tone for the shadowy parts. And then maybe just a little bit of that like sheen when it really hits the light. I'm kind of drawing it like it's a real fleshy eye, but it's gonna be like more of a stony texture whenever we're done. That's the idea anyways. But for now, we're just gonna fill this in. Try to hit the eyelash too, so we can really just have like a harsh stop to it. Like, even this like white spot is actually a fake white spot. Whenever I get to it, like, it's gonna be filled in gold too. If you see on like sculptures of like eyes, they'll like have a little cutout, so it looks like there's a little reflection in the eye, but it's actually still just stone. Like, there's no like special shiny object that they put in the little white spots. Because I guess even back then and during the Roman times, they had like an idea of like the reflective little ball of light in your eye. Oh, I could just show you what I mean. What the? Adblock is asking for money? No, thank you. I appreciate Adblock, but it's not like a 100% foolproof thing. Like, it's insane. I'm trying to find an example. Here it is. Here we go. So like in these, like even in like these old timey sculptures, you can see like they have like a little cutout for where the white spot is. And I always think that that's interesting that it carries over even all the way into like ancient civilizations, where they like even they'll think of ways, they thought of ways to include that tiny little dip of light coming in. That's really cool. Anyways, just felt like talking about that. So that's what I plan on doing here, where it's just gonna be like a little cutout where it's not actually gonna be like a highlight. It's just gonna be noticeably brighter than the area underneath because this is gonna be cut out. So we're not gonna keep it, but again, like just a show something darker, too dark, right there. So this area is gonna be like cut in where you can see it. It's gonna reflect dark. It's gonna have like a darker area to it. And we can also include like a little bit there to show that it's like a little bit higher than all the other area, but it's still underneath the actual fleshy eyelid. And I think there's actually historical examples of like really old eye implants, ancient eye implant. Yeah, here it is. A prosthetic eye is what it's called. Here it is. Gonna move this all the way to the top. So this is an old eye that they eye implant that or prosthetic that they found in an Iranian archaeology site. So it was like, I think it's like an old lady is what it was. I don't remember. I think Minuteman talked about it. Somebody talked about it. Or actually no, it was Trey the Explainer on YouTube. He has like a lot of like old archaeology videos. A lot of his videos are old because he posts like once a year. He's one of those YouTube channels that like 2 or 3 years ago, they were making like videos once a month and then they had like a huge break. Usually what it is for me is like they go to college. So like they can't keep up with it, or like they were in college. So they felt like making YouTube videos. And now that they're out of college, they don't feel like making YouTube videos. There's a couple channels like that where they have like this huge bevy of content, but it stops just like instantly, like a year ago, 2 years ago. They're still there. They just, you know, have a hard time making content, and you know it's you know hard to actually expect people to keep that up. You know, it's easy to complain when you're just consuming. Hang on, I'm trying to see what it's actually made out of, just to make me be a little bit more interested. Artificial eye, freak one, you can do to argue the pace, ever made by man, first ocular, 2006 it was discovered, a female skeleton, ancient grave, dated back to 48,000 years ago, 2930, first ocular, nothing about the material, come on. What is it made of? Is it chocolate? Can I eat it? May I? Please? Please? Please! Just let me nibble. Oh my god. Stop asking me for cookies. Reject optional cookies. I don't want anything. Stop. Oh, everything's hungry for information. This doesn't even have anything from the picture. Go away. Please, please. Anatomy of an artificial eye. In detail, the convex of the eye, central limitation of the eye, radical from the center of the outer part. Ah. Hold on, here it is. Hold on. Artificial eye discovered in grave was left in the left eye socket of a woman. Discovered between 29,000 and 2800 BC. one of the should be considered as the first ocular prosthesis in the world. First signing is we helps to the following reasons. Left eye. Has spherical features. I'm sorry for being so distracted. Ooh, there were golden. There were gold. There's gold in the little implant that you see here, or there was gold. There was like little inlays of gold in the prosthetic. I'm gonna look up material. Material? I'm not finding anything. Sorry, I'm trying to like skim through the paper to see if I can see anything about what it's made of. The only thing I could see is that there was gold at one point inside of it. Looks like it's some kind of white material, so it was supposed to look like a white eye. Okay. That's it. I couldn't find exactly what it is, but there's a lot of interesting stuff about the engravings that they have in it. It kind of has to do with how the prehistoric society actually had like some kind of understanding of sun rays because of the way that they put in patterns, or at least that's their hypothesis or their conclusion. Because there's a bunch of like decorative stuff on it. There's like specifically like a bunch of rays that come out from like the center of what is supposed to be where the pupil is. So they had like some understanding of like, you know, like the different sections of the eye and, you know, some kind of like ray like design on it, which might mean that they had an understanding of, you know, like the eye seeing sun rays, or maybe not. Maybe it was just a fun little pattern. It was a funky little thing. You know, I would refer to the text to know. Sorry, I got really distracted. What was I here for? Oh yeah, golden eye. Okay, we're gonna leave that there. So next, I'm gonna do the glasses. We're gonna do this like an orange tone, like a tan orange, just enough to like stand out. Okay, yeah, that's bright enough. I'm gonna do it like very loosely, just to quickly jump through it. And I think I'm gonna do the actual lens as well in this color, and then we could tweak it as we go along. Or maybe I won't, we'll see. We'll see how like distracting it looks to me. Because part of me is like, okay, you know, later on down the line, we can like cut out pieces to make it like look like you can see through the lens. But now that I think about it, it's like, oh, if we're just gonna cut it out like then, why not just cut it out now? I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a different layer for the lenses, and then we're gonna make it like an overlay, like a really like light layer that you can almost completely see through. That way you can get a little bit more of like a color shift on it. Like, so it's a little bit, it feels a little bit more natural. You know, true to real lenses, you know, like real lenses, you can see through them completely, but you might see like a little bit of a color change because, you know, getting a completely perfect transparent glass with no hue and color shift is takes some effort, I think. Like, I think all lenses and mirrors, especially, I know for sure, have like a little bit of hue to them, like just at least like a 0.0001% of a color. I think. I'm pretty sure. I could be completely wrong on that. Somebody who makes glasses would know. Works with glass in general. But I'm pretty sure they would at least have like a little bit of a tone to it. It's just like you're hopefully like blocking out almost all of the hue. I think the only exception is like what is it called? The like blue light filtering glasses. Those intentionally have like colored lenses that block out blue. So usually it's like a yellow or orange, because that's like the inverse of blue on a color spectrum. And I think especially like cheap blue light filters will have that, because there are ways where you more actively don't notice what color it is to change the hue. Only like cheaper ones that you really see like, oh, these lenses are actually just like a little bit green or orange or whatever. There we go. Then just one layer. We're gonna do like a slightly greenish, just a little bit of green, like the lightest little touch of green. Let's try this. This feels right. That feels good. I'm gonna put it behind the glasses so we can just cut through it. I'm gonna try to keep all of the line art we can, because I do like the way that it brightens up the line art too. I need to double check to make sure the line art is transparent. So usually what I see for people is that they put their line art at like multiply at like 70%, 70 to like 80%. But sometimes it gets a little annoying for me. Like, I like having very harsh, easy to read lines. So yeah, mine is about like 80. I forgot what number it was at, but we're gonna keep it there. That should be good. Normally we'd have a hair layer, but we don't have to worry about this for him. See, this is what I mean by like one of the only shortcomings of having like a completely circular brush, is that you see like this tiny little dip where it's like between the circles, and you have to go back over that like a second time to just make sure it's clean. It usually doesn't happen, but when it does, it kind of gets on my nerves. That's the only like thing that like really bothers me about this hard brush that I use. There we go. And then, so just to give you an example, we could change it to like an overlay, and then we can like really lower it. So there's like only just like the slightest little hue change that you can notice. And then we could even like erase parts of it, so you can only see like a little bit of it, to like really sell like the illusion that like parts of it are like completely transparent, and then like parts of it you get more of a glare. Glare is probably the more noticeable part of it whenever you have like your glasses like layered down. Oh, my body. My bones, my beautiful arms. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and do his hair, his facial hair. So the facial hair, we're gonna go for more of like, one second. Let me turn this back on so it's a little bit less blinding in the background. Yeah, here it is. So for the beard, we're gonna go for more of a grayish tone. Let me see. How bright is his beard on the original sketch? It's a pretty powdery white beard with just like a little bit of dusting of gray. So I'd say like maybe like Let's see. Maybe like this powdery white, and then maybe just like a few little tinges of like a darker gray. Something a little bit more bold. Trying to look for like a good like dark gray color. That's too light. That's too saturated. Something like this, but like even less saturated than that. Something like this, but even lighter than that. So maybe just like a little higher. No, that's a huge hue. Just a little bit lighter. Something like that. That would probably be like what the beard we're gonna go for at the end is gonna look like. For now, we just need the base tone, which I'm gonna keep this steel gray. And then the eyebrows are just the same shade. No difference between the eyebrows and the beard. I think they even are made out of like the same hairs. Like there's a different hair for your head and then for your face. And I think your face is also the same texture as your body hair. But I might be wrong on that. And it might be different for different people. This one's also going to be hard because I intentionally keep things very like feathery in the hairs. So it's really hard to like communicate that, especially when it comes to like hair lines. Usually the hairline I have like a lot of like individual strands of hair. So like I actually have to like go in and make sure all the like individual strands get the respect they deserve. But let me cut out like big sections and then we can fix it further on. I think I'm just gonna take a pencil to fill in the rest. We're gonna like overcorrect, and then we're gonna just trim it down, trim it back up, expand out. Basically, we're just like having a base of hair, and then we're gonna like slowly push it out. That's not a pencil. That's not like a regular pencil size. We're gonna try to really fill it in though, because this brush can be a little streaky. And I want to keep these to like very strong, like either you're filled with the color or you're not. Very like off and on, what's the word, binary, where it's like there's color or there's no color. I don't want anything like too transparent showing up. There we go. One bushy eyebrow. Done. Hang on. Lighten up this area too. Here the technique's gonna be very similar. It's a little bit of strands over here, a little bit of strands over there. There we go. That one was much easier. I don't know why. I think I just got a better handle on what I was trying to do. Okay, so for here, we're gonna need to cut out the entire like lip section. Lip does not have any hair. Right there. Okay, there we go. 1 second. Okay. What time is it? 7:44? What does that mean? We've been here for 30 minutes, almost an hour and a half. We're almost at the 2-hour mark. I don't know how much we're planning on getting done today. I think maybe we're gonna start on the rendering, just at least start it. Get like a big like a section of it started. Like, you know, like a quick like 5-minute section started. And then that's probably where we're gonna leave it. So maybe instead of like a 3-4 hour stream today, it's maybe just like 2.5. We'll see. 8.5 is like the minimum. Like 2 hours a day, that's the least I could do. Does that mean I'm a part-time streamer? So be it. I actually do have a job. So I guess it makes sense that I would only do a part-time stream. Kudos to anybody who has a part-time or full-time job even. No, wait, what am I talking about? I have a full-time job. I have benefits and everything. But yeah, kudos to anybody who has like a full-time job and can actually keep up doing a like a legit like 8-hour stream. If I gamed, I could maybe do like 4 or 5 plus hours every night. But I don't like streaming. I don't like the idea of streaming my games, mainly because like I really want my art to be like what takes off, and then also sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. What's going on here? Oh, that's right. Yeah, I want my art to be what like makes me more, you know, known. Also, I don't think my like gaming personality would be like crazy cool or anything, you know, like I don't have like a secret. This is a good example. I don't have like a jinxie personality when I'm gaming, you know, like I'm not going crazy. I'm very quiet. I do get very frustrated if you want to see somebody go like, oh man, freaking, oh dude, like if you want to hear that just over and over again, I'm your guy. I'm not gonna go on, you know, essays calling people, you know, slurs that will immediately get me banned. Like that's not how I game. Growing up in a household where you can't curse at people, yeah, that's not happening. The most I could see myself doing is like just playing games that I like. So I would be playing like Dark Souls games all the time. At best, maybe you would see me doing some like maybe like open modding stuff, like I don't know what the word for it is, but basically like build-a-blocks, forge mode, that kind of thing, where, you know, like the game developers give you all the tools to just go ahead and build everything. There's like an in-game builder. The one that I'm specifically referring to is I do actually have a map, custom map that I made for Golf with Your Friends. If anybody's ever played that, just like a fun mini golf game. You can build your own maps. I built one called Ocularium, and that one I just got like an award for that. Not like an award, but like Steam has like little trophies you can give people, and I got one for that mod, which I'm very grateful for. That's awesome. Like it's a mod I made literally just for my friends, but because, you know, like it takes like 5 seconds to upload to the Steam Workshop, I was like, hey, if anybody else wants to try out these maps, I legit worked really hard on them. Like I was literally looking at like maps for mini golf areas, and those actually kind of sucked. Those are very basic, where it's just like, hey, it's gonna be one little corner, and your goal is to get around the corner. And it's like on my map, it's like I'm literally like here you have to spiral it around this area, bump it off this area, and then it goes into the hole on the other side. It's like that's, you know, like I need a lot more pizzazz, and I need a lot more flavor, because I was I don't know if tryharding is a word, but it's like if I wanted to make a map, I wanted to do it, you know, something that I could be proud of, you know, something where it's like this is me if I was actually trying to make maps for a game designer. I think even the developers of the game were, you know, like, I don't know, I guess gave it a like or something. But yeah, because I think it was on like a curated page for the game. I'm gloating about something that literally doesn't matter, because I you know, it's not like I earned a dime off of it. But I'm still really proud of the map. Like, it's really fun, and I hope anybody who plays it enjoys it. That would be fun if I could do, like, if there was like more games where you could like make maps and stuff. Like, I probably would start picking that up, because I really love the modding scene for video games. Like, especially ever since, what was my first game I modded? I think probably New Vegas, but I almost don't even want to talk about it because like I broke the game very quickly. Like, I made it unplayable for my brothers. The game just did not open for longer than 14 seconds. And back then I did not know how to fix anything. I don't know if it was an issue with Nexus Mod Manager or if it was just an issue with me uploading it directly. I don't know how I did it. Like, I was like 14 and I somehow understood how to like browse folders, open up like mods directly into the game and replace files. Like, I don't know how to do that now. Or sorry, I do know how to do it, but it's like very difficult for me. I'm lying. I definitely know how to do it pretty easily, because I literally just finished modding a game last night. But I'm still surprised like how far I got into things. Like whenever I think about video games that I played when I was young, like I'm surprised I got past areas. Like, because I had this thing where I only played like the starting areas of a lot of maps or of a lot of video games. Like Resident Evil, I only played the starting area. Resident Evil 4, I played only like the opening village area, because as soon as the chainsaw came out, I would just start to pee myself. Fear, I remember only playing like the starting area, and I think I played through it once to the end, but that was about it. Hang on a second. I'm having trouble understanding where the mustache starts and ends. Okay, I see. It's supposed to connect here. He doesn't have like a huge gap for no reason. There we go. Frankly, that was a lot easier than a lot of hair that I've done. Resident Evil, Fear, Sonic was another one where I only wanted to play like the big hill, running down the hill and there's a bus chasing you. That was like the only section I wanted to play over and over again. And then the chaos section, I really love the chaos. So that's why I'm surprised that I could even figure out how to do modding back when I was like 14. But I guess I did. Enough to break a game, at least. Alright, next I want to do the watch. We can go back to the solid brush. Watch, we're gonna go for, what is it, gold or silver? I'm feeling gold, but I think it's silver. It's silver. That's fine. Silver's good. We're gonna go for like a dark tone, probably something similar to the background area. Rosy steel, warm steel. I think there's a cool cold skin, and that's about it for the gray. We'll do a purple, just to like differentiate between it from anything else. We're gonna put this. No, we're gonna keep that there. We're just gonna cut out this section a little bit more. There's a reason I started talking about this. Why was I talking about modding? Yeah, so modding would be fun. I have a lot of respect for modders. Like they made like so many of my gaming experiences so much more fun. Like Fallout and Skyrim are the obvious ones, but I don't even know if I ever modded Skyrim because Skyrim doesn't grab me like Fallout. Fallout was always my big game. Fantasy games I've always had a hard time with. Not trying to say that, you know, like Fallout is better than, or fantasy games are like terrible or anything. It's just they never really grabbed me. The setting just felt too wishy-washy. I liked more of a sci-fi, at least because like it feels more what's it called? Like it's a hard science. Even though, you know, I've now that I've gotten older, I realized that sci-fi sci-fi stories can be just as loose as fantasy stories. You know, it's like the hard magic, soft magic systems. There's a lot of sci-fi that does like that soft magic stuff. But anyways, in general, usually sci-fi stories grab me a lot better than fantasy stories. Okay, that's the base for the watch. Let me just trim this code a little bit more because it's really hard to see. Really hard. I don't know what I'm saying. There's some sections where it still overlaps where it's not supposed to. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble saying what I'm trying to say. I think my head is... Sorry. I think my head is still a little wishy-washy from bad sleep this week. This week is still better than last week. Last week I had a really bad time with sleep, but this week I'm pretty okay. Okay, so we're gonna do another layer for the watch. The watch. There's like a lady that I'm thinking about on Instagram. She's like a German person, but she has like a very soothing American accent or English accent. What do you call it? Normal default American English accent. I don't think she does like a British accent. But it feels weird calling English American because that feels like just an American thing to say. But she doesn't have like any of those like, you know, like British incantations, connotations. I think connotations is the word. So that's why I'm saying that it's an American English. Anyways, point is, she says a watch. She says the word watch, but because of her German accent, it kind of sounds like watch. Her what? That is a what? Watch. A watch. It's very weird, but it's like very soothing because she just has a nice voice. So that's just like in the back of my head right now. Every time I look at this watch, a watch, a watch, watch. Eeks. What does she say? She says eek. Sagido. That's what it is. Sak ik do. Which means like that's what I said in German. But it sounds so goofy to American ears, so it just sounds like saki do. Soggy dough. Okay. My brothers are being like fanboys for Jujutsu Kaisen right now. I don't have any issue with Jujutsu Kaisen. I think just like a lot of shonen and seinen anime I've just been tuned out of for a little while. I mean, I've been tuned out of anime for a long time now. I'm gonna do a layer for the hat, even though it shouldn't be any different from this layer. Or maybe I won't. Maybe I won't. I think I'll avoid doing that. I think the only thing I need to do for that is the hat does have like a little band of color on it. Yeah, like a little orange band. I think that it was actually from the original image that I worked on, or from the original image I found in the magazine of this like bright red jacket. There was like a little bit of an orange accent on the hat. So that's what I'm doing this for. Am I on the right layer? Yes, I am. Sapito. German is not one of the languages I want to learn. I want to learn French, although French sounds disgusting, just frankly. Just gonna be honest with you there. I've started to learn that some languages have very guttural sounds, and French is one of those languages that are very just... It kind of just sounds like you're spitting. Not that... Honestly, we don't need that much more French slander. Like, every person that I see or watch has, like, French slander as a meme. And English slander. I'm okay with English slander. Mocking the British for their habits is really fun. Like, it's an American pastime. But the French, I feel like, you know what? That's kind of old. It's kind of like saying, you know, like, oh, what are the French going to do? Give up and, you know, what's the word? What's the word? A surrender? What are you going to do? Surrender? Like, I think that kind of stuff is, you know, lame. It's a little too cooked right now. But also their language is gross. Like, it's just terrible. There's a few languages like that. Like China is also dope, but their language is also very harsh on the throat. I think Yiddish also uses a lot of those guttural sounds, and it's just very, you know, it's just hard on the ears, personally. But there's fun Yiddish words that I really like. You know, like there's always like a few phrases that are fun to keep around, like schmutz. What's the other ones? Schmuck. It's well on. Schmutz is like a little bit of, you know, like a little stain that you have, or a little bit of trash that you have. And then schmuck is like just somebody who's, I don't know what the actual word is. I just know what it is when I see it. There's probably like a very easy to find translation. Chutzpah. That's another Yiddish one. It'd be really embarrassing if none of these were Yiddish words and I'm just an idiot. All I know is what I've seen from TV shows. And the nannies particularly. But I mean, like, the word chutzpah is like, that's another one where it's like, it kind of just sounds like you're spitting. Like, it's already got that, like, nastiness to it. There's a lot of languages that have those, like, weird little bits of, guttural charge to it. That's the word I'm going to use. German has a lot of that. I think German can have a lot of that now that I think about it. I think German can sound a lot more smooth. It's just most of the attitude that you use with it. And I guess, you know, certain World War II films make you think of like a different kind of incantation, like a different way of using it. What's the one? I really like the language that's used in, I think, Polish. I think Polish has like a very fun language. I can't imagine it's easy to learn. I like, if I had to guess, any of those like Germanic languages or Cyrillic languages, probably really, really hard to learn. I think Russian would be fun. Maybe just because of Stalker. I think Stalker has like ruined the Russian language by just being like very memeable. CSGO probably also hasn't helped. But I mean, just like the cursing, "Shuka blah," like that's terrible. That's not a good Russian accent. I think you have to really go like 100% into like the Russian accent to like really, really sell it. That would be a fun one to just have like in your back pocket. Just be like, as like a party trick. I'm gonna use this same color for the belt, but I am gonna put it on a different layer. I'm just gonna keep that open because we're gonna be working down low. So as far as like what we're gonna do tonight, we're gonna just do like very basic flats, smooth them all out, get them cut into pieces, and then we're just gonna jump back into the black and white and do the rendering. At least starting the rendering, it doesn't have to be like completely perfect. What was I just talking about? Languages that would be fun to learn. Japanese is an obvious one. Japanese is just awesome. Although, definitely one of those languages that are going to be very tough to learn. Spanish, it's weird to say that I want to learn Spanish, but I do. You know, like, already know like a lot of it, and Spanish is also just like a language that's very like nice on the ear. At least to me it is. The only thing that makes me mad is whenever a word is nowhere near what I think it's supposed to be. Like the words for fork. It's like Spanish and English have like a lot of connections to it, so like it's very similar. Like it's very funny that a lot of words are just English words with like an E or an A at the end. I can't think of any examples. 1 second. I'm not gonna bring up any examples off the top of my head, but the fork is one that really bothers me just off the top of my head, because fork isn't like forca or, you know, like forca or something very easy and obvious where you just add an A to it. It's escuchera, I think. Hold on, let me double check that before I mistranslate. Fork in Spanish. That might be tenedor. That's what it is. You don't have to roll the R. I do that on accident. Which one's escuchera? Cuchara. That's how you say spoon in Spanish, and it makes me mad because that doesn't sound like spoon. That's so weird. It's not even similar, like specifically because I'm gonna have trouble remembering that. You know, like there's no word game that's gonna like help me figure out that spoon sounds like cuchara, and it's like it doesn't. You know, like it's not even similar. It doesn't use any of the same letters either. So like I want to learn more Spanish, but like it's gonna get on my nerves from time to time, and it's kind of also like I have to. There's a lot of Spanish-speaking people in the U.S. So in general, I think a lot more people should be learning Spanish in this country. It'd also help, you know, like if they learned English, but you know that's, you know, that would include like we would have to pay for them to learn, and I don't think America wants to do that, because why would we help the people that come to our country? That's what other countries do. We don't do that. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Japanese, Russian would be an awesome one to just have in the back pocket. French, I just think is a fun language. I think French I would still like to learn, even if it's like a very ugly language. I think, you know, certain accents are, you know, certain words are just like particularly, you know, where it just gets really guttural and nasty. But then, you know, other parts of French are... That's what it sounds like to someone who doesn't understand French. Let's see. Japanese, Russian, Spanish. Can't think of any other fun ones. I don't know if I can think of any Indian words. I don't know why, but Indian doesn't jump out at me. I've seen Bollywood movies, but I can't even remember what like a single word was that they said. I think because it's also one of those languages that doesn't have like any of the same basic structure of like Latin languages. I think it's Sanskrit is what is like the base alphabet for Indian language. For Hindi. And I mean there's also like more than just Hindi. There's like a couple, I can't remember, but there's like Hindi is one of them, and then there's like a more the word where it proliferate word language was the word I was trying to say. I think proliferate's a word. There's a verb. Adjective. Oh my goodness. Proliferous. That's the word I was supposed to say. Proliferous. Languages in India. I think Gujarati is the one that I'm thinking of. That's like the one that I know is like very common. It might be another one. Is Punjab also one? Punjab is a language. Uh-oh. I don't know which one's like the which one's the main languages. It says that Hindi is, but I know, but I think I remember specifically that Hindi wasn't like a super common, or sorry, so not like like an official language. Or sorry, not the official language, but there's a word for it. It's more of like a poetic language. But maybe I'm just completely wrong. Maybe I'm misunderstanding like a scene where they were discussing language and I just like completely switched them around. Yeah, I can't think of any Indian words off the top of my head. So I don't even know if it would be a fun language or a difficult language to understand. I think maybe because of Doom. I keep saying Doom. Dune. I think maybe because of Dune, I really would like to learn Arabic. Is it Farsi? Let me see. Just language used in Afghanistan. I don't know. I don't know enough about Middle Eastern countries to divulge them properly, so apologies. Pashto. Also, Dari Persian, but I'm not sure Persian. It looks like a lot of languages. Let's go with Iran. I think Iranian would be the language. Persian. Okay, Farsi. Okay. Is that a Muslim language? Muslim. Is that a Muslim? Muslim? Sorry, just a second. Kashmiri, Kurdish. I'm getting lost in all the different languages. Yeah, I guess Farsi would be the one that I would learn, especially because one of the characters that I've shown off just a second ago is Persian. So I had to look up a bunch of different names. Masha, I think is how you say it, is her name. Masha. And I think if I translated it correctly, it's for moon, which was my way of saying she's of the night, basically. You know, night vampire. You get what I'm saying. The night actually makes it. Writing vampires is really hard. Like, especially if you try to make them like operate in normal world politics or normal world. I don't know why I said politics. Make them function in the normal world. So one difficulty I really had when trying to like write out the bios for the characters was trying to make sense of how like them working in the world would even happen. Not like physically, but like how would they hold down jobs if they're only awake at night? You know? And I think technically it's like they're just switched where they're basically the night people. I mean, I am a night shift worker, so I could technically be a vampire. Why did I do that? Why did I just absorb the color from the palette instead of just using one of my own colors? I'm doing the buckle. We're gonna use this color as the base tone. It's probably even the same color, but I don't know why. Just like absorbing it, using the eyedropper tool from the reference, just felt like a weird move to me. Sorry. So it became like a very big issue with, I think, 2 out of particular. Romeo was very easy because he just has like a lot of money from his master that he devoured. You know, like he comes from old money, so it's very easy for those kind of characters. But and then like other characters like Sierra, she owns a fashion, or she is a fashion model. I don't remember if she owns if she is a fashion model or if she owns like a fashion house, like Gucci, Versace. She owns one, like a fictional one. Then it wouldn't be like, you know, they would work in high fashion, but they wouldn't be like any of those brands. Or maybe they could. Anyways, point is, there are some where it's a lot easier because they're a lot more self-directed. But something like Monica, she's a head of a medical hospital. She's like the medical head of a hospital. Specifically, she works with all the money parts of it. She's like the CEO of the hospital, of a local hospital. But it's like she's not available in the mornings. So how does that work? And I'm wondering, it's like there's so many like vampire characters that I know have like these huge jobs, or like they work in business, and that's all they have. That's the depth of their character. They are a business guy, you know, like that's literally their entire character. But then you think about it for like longer than 2 seconds. It's like, how do you go to meetings? And the answer is like they kind of have like, you know, minions that they direct for them, or you know, they're at a high enough position to not need to actually show up physically to their work. But it's like, that's hard, you know, that really limits you on a lot of things. So like one that I'm thinking, the other big one besides Monica, because you know she's like the head of a facility. Monica would be a little easier because you could say that she maybe has like a helper or somebody that does like a lot of the financing during her off hours. You know, she implements a lot of ghouls to do the morning tasks. But another one that's a really tough is Chance, the gangrel lawyer. Because lawyers have to operate on schedules of the courthouse and judges, I think. I'm not a lawyer, I don't know for sure, but I know that judges kind of are the ones in power and have like a lot of the control. So like trying to imagine how that works too. Like he keeps up his regular work, and I do know that night court exists. So let me take like 5 seconds to Google if night court is actually a court that operates during night hours. What's going on? Come on. Criminal court night shift. Is there a night shift? Is that something that happens? So it looks like it works in it happens in New York. Night courts can also be found in Illinois, California, and other states. That's awesome. Okay. That answers my questions. Okay. So yeah. So it is potential. You could potentially have a lawyer that only operates at night. Okay. So that makes sense. So yeah, all the characters technically could happen. It's just very weird. But that's like a thing to think about. Like bartenders would be an easy one because most bars aren't open in the mornings. But there's a lot of positions where like just be like, if you wanted to be like a fry cook, there's very few fry cooks that are or restaurants that are open past even midnight. Like a lot of the restaurants in my city like close at like 10 p.m. There's like 2 or 3 that stay open until late night. But if there's like very small little things where it's like, oh, I want this vampire to have a job, like a normal human being, just to blend into society and help pay their bills, because this isn't a world where you can just not pay your bills. This is based off of real life. You can just like explain it away as maybe like the people that own them. I think in one of the vampire games, Vampire the Masquerade games, you're like given an apartment by that people that basically own your life. So maybe you can wing it that way. But that's just something to consider whenever you're like writing stories about characters' lives. It's like, okay, if they have like a normal job in the real world, how in the world are they supposed to attend it as a vampire? Like not only do they have to worry about like, okay, maybe they don't drink everybody's blood, maybe they keep blood bags on them to like keep them satisfied and not kill everybody at the work site. In the literal fictional world, do not worry, do not like auto clap me. Twitch mods. But like, if you wanted a banker, how do they open a bank? What bank is open with people at night? Especially now that we have like automated ATMs. Wait, I'm pretty sure the A in ATM is automated. Automated teller machine. Let me double check that. ATM. ATM stands for automated teller machine. I was exactly right. God, I'm so smart. I'm not that smart, but anyways. But yeah, small little vampire issues. Generally, the solution is just having human servants that do everything in the mornings. And just writing it so your characters are like high up enough that either they have somebody do work for them, or low enough that they can work a position that is available at nights. Like, a janitor. There are janitors that do like custodial work at night. Like one that comes to the top of my head, I don't know why this is the one, but I know that there's like a cancer treatment facility where they literally have to like clean like from top to bottom after they've closed. Like there's plenty of like custodian positions that do that. There's factories that like they have a morning shift and they have night shift. Then there's actually like a B shift that's in between. Just something to consider if you're ever like writing the backstories of your characters. It's just like a weird funny issue that came up in my head while I was writing these characters, and like I started having to like completely rewrite them from scratch at some points, because I was just like, this makes no sense. How could they even appear in court? And like I would do character drawings where like, oh, here's them hanging out at a bar, and then like 2 weeks later I would look at the drawing and I'm like, wait a second, how are they there during normal operating hours? Wait a second. Wait a minute. Or, like sometimes I draw a character with like a sunny background and then I'm like, wait a second. Vampires don't do that. They're not even awake. Like they naturally just fall asleep. And they have to kind of like resist it, as far as I'm aware. I think that's how it goes in Vampire the Masquerade lore. That's not an eraser. What? Oh, I guess it is an eraser. I like this little loop in the background of this song. Do. Oh, it's gone. Oh, there it is. It reminds me of like old school hip hop, which I'm sure is probably where they get it from. Like it uses the same samples that those old hip hop songs did. There we go. All right, so scarf. I think we got pretty much everything we needed. Let me just trim the scarf a little bit more. No, I think that's good. Well, what's this? No, I guess that's fine. Okay, that's better. Wait. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. And then the only other thing is maybe the buttons. I was thinking of ignoring it, but I'm just gonna go ahead and do the buttons. We can go for like just a darker brown, maybe even like the same color for the line art. That's probably gonna cause some problems. Hold on. Oh no, see, it works. Because it's a multiply layer on the line art, so it also like combines with the color underneath, so it just gets darker. Let me turn this off. That way I can see if I'm actually getting the buttons to the line. Let's see, what was I just talking about? I finished with the language conversation. I was talking about vampire lore. What's going on here? Oh, this is just an eraser. That's fine. Something I also really want to try doing is I really like big chunky hands. It might be from My Hero, but like I'm starting to really enjoy like characters with more like stylized giant hands, because I feel like I have like no connection to whether or not the hands are too big or too small, and I feel like just going ahead and just being like, you know what, giant hands, not yaoi size, but you know, just like kind of like big chunky hands, so you can really like appreciate like the like stylization of how I'm directing the hands. So when they're in like really fun little poses, like I really want you to like see it and enjoy it. This one's probably a little, this feels like the most like normal big hand person, like just somebody with like big hands, but it's not like comically big hands. Like My Hero has like chunky hands, like that's part of the art style. Let me just put this down, then I'm gonna look up just like a My Hero character. Big hands and big feet. I'm trying to find a good example. Or is it just Deku? This is a pretty good image. Might just be because of the gloves now that I'm looking at it. Why are you all the way down below? There you go. So they just have like big honking huge hands, and I kind of like it. They also have big heads, but I think this is because he's like a kid. Like high school, middle school. Something's really fun about that. Like I do love when I draw gloves that are like huge welder gloves, like really thick gloves. I do have like those big chunky hands. Sorry, I was just looking at a bunch more images. My Hero images. I'm trying to see. Let's see. Is there any other My Hero characters that have big hands, big honking huge hands? What's the rabbit character? Rabbit girl character. I like her design. Does she have big hands? She does, because she has like the big Looney Tunes kind of like thing going on. Now that I'm looking at it, they're not that crazy, the hands. I thought for sure they were all like crazy, but now that I think about it, I think it was just Deku and his big gloves. Or maybe I heard somebody else talk about it. But anyways. I do kind of want to like experiment with it a little bit. Might not keep it when we don't know. My art style has always been like just like a certain way. Like it's very, I would try to like make it like a blend of like realistic anime and what's the other one? Comic books, American comic books. Like American comic books try to be like very realistic. They're just like very exaggerated in how muscular people are. Like that's their main thing that is very unrealistic. While anime can usually exaggerates like how big the eyes are. American comic books usually downsize the features, except for nowadays everything is kind of inspired by anime. Like American TV shows are inspired. Sorry, American comic books are inspired by anime. American TV cartoon shows are inspired by American anime. Even stuff like this song's really loud. Sorry, it's distracting me. Too much energy. Oh, I'm sure of that. Yeah, like even like stuff for babies, all the way up to like, you know, Cartoon Network, all the way up to I wouldn't say Family Guy, but like adult cartoons. Like those all like at least have like a little bit of inspiration for like from like anime nowadays, which is good, which is awesome because, you know, like they basically were all like, hey, everybody loves this, so let's try just, you know, doing that a little bit more. I was just having a conversation about something. Oh, so yeah, my stuff has always been like a blend of like trying to keep things a little bit more towards like the Ghost in the Shell, Death Note, Seinen, I guess, a style where everything's like very like realistically proportioned. You know, like characters don't have like super exaggerated wide eyes or anything like that. I do want a little bit of that. I do like whenever they have like the big goofy anime eyes and stuff like that. But it can get a little obnoxious. So usually what I do is I tend to do the formula of like adult characters have very normal faces, child characters have very like exaggerated big eyes and stuff like that. That's kind of my style. And sometimes I get a little bit closer to realism. Then a little bit, sometimes I go back and do a little bit more of an anime artsy style. You know, the stylized. Go for a more stylized look. But yeah, usually I end up like coming back to the same level of exaggeration where it's just very realistic. It's very anime. It's very American comic books. It's very normally proportioned with maybe just like a little bit more style here and there. But I kind of am always jealous of like people who do like a much more cutesier style, a much more edgier style, a much more flashy style. I see people who do those styles really well, and I'm always just like, man, I wish that just came to me more naturally, because I really do just like default to this. And it's hard, like I can do those styles a little bit if I push really hard, but like, you know, eventually what you try to find is like that balance where it's like this is just what comes naturally to you. And I wish I just, you know, I could more easily just chameleon into other styles. Like cutesy stuff. Like I do make attempts at cutesy art styles every now and again, and it's never that natural for me. Like it really sucks because I wish I could do like a very just like on the fly, oh, here's like a cute little character, and then, you know, like it's just very adorable, everybody loves the little thing. But it's like it doesn't come from me naturally. Like I can do really ugly stuff really well. That stuff comes naturally. Like really ugly, wrinkly, goofy looking faces, I can do that really easy. Hold on, wait a second. There we go. And I think the reason is because I can, when you're doing like really ugly faces and really wrinkly ugly faces, like you're just like piling on detail, having all these little like scratch marks and all this other stuff that makes it like way more gnarly. But then when you're doing cute stuff, it's all about simplicity, and it's all about like well balanced proportions, and that stuff is a little bit more vague and hard for me to really do on the fly. Like I have to like make sure I'm paying attention to everything to really balance things out for cute drawings. And it's hard. It's so hard for me. It just doesn't come naturally. And you know, some people, they do like 3 little lines and it's perfect. For me, like I have to like really carefully go in and hold on, let me get out my brush. You have to like really carefully just be like, okay, we're gonna do a cute face. Big eyes, big, tiny mouth. Maybe a nose, maybe a little bit of, maybe no nose. How about no nose? No. Little dots, just tiny dots. And then just hair. Just whatever. Who cares? Hair. You know what? No. We gotta care a little bit. Simple. Easy. There we go. Ears. Forgot the ears. Make them big. Big ears. That's not an eraser. And you know what? The eyes are a little bit too big. Let's give them a little bit of a scrunchie on the face. Like a little bit like that. Yeah, just like a little trim. There we go. Look how happy he is. No. Let's keep it simple on the eyes. This is the way I do like cute faces. Like this is like my thought process is like we're gonna do a little bit of this. We're gonna do a little bit of this. Actually, no. That's too far. That's too far. It's just like constantly like dialing it back and like adding a little bit more detail. And like the amount of times I like redraw the face where it's like no, it needs to be doughier. It needs to be softer. It needs to be bigger, rounder. When it's like other people, they just draw the circle and it's perfect. And I know what it is. It's like some people just have like that niche in their art style where it's like that's where what they draw. They want to draw. The reason why my stuff looks like a lot of superhero stuff is because I draw a lot of like superhero stuff. So like people who draw a lot of cute things are just good at drawing cute things. So you know they can kind of skip steps and it's really smooth and simple for them. See, like that's how I draw cute stuff. It's really hard. It's really hard. It doesn't come natural, and usually it just still looks wrong. But anyways, that's just an example of how like the process is for me, and I hate it. I don't like it. Okay. So 1 second. We're gonna put all of this in its own group. Stick with me. Hold on. We're gonna make it a pass-through. And we're gonna turn off all the pass-throughs inside of it because then it's just gonna be completely invisible. There we go. Otherwise it would be completely invisible. There we go. So we now have like, this is gonna be the color group. Color flat. Make it red. Pop. Okay, and then we're just gonna get started on just outlining what the lighting's gonna be like. So we can pull back up the background a little bit. So the light is just gonna be pouring in from here. Then we can have like a secondary light. So the first big one is gonna be the moonlight. Moonlight, moonlight, dun, 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 moonlight. So we're gonna grab this like bright blue color. I'm gonna make this hit only Omar. Actually, before I do that, let me do the blue light. It's okay. I was gonna do like the gray, but it's all right for now. So the main key light is gonna be here, just like hitting him in the front. I think technically it would be hitting him on the side, but we're gonna ignore that. We're gonna act like it's a little bit more towards the front, because I mean there are gonna be windows like up towards the front too, so it can work. It can make sense. But mostly it's just because like this is the way I feel like doing it. Maybe it hits a little bit on the hat here. Maybe just a little bit as the hand peeks out. Just a little bit. And that's about as far as the light goes. Yeah, maybe it goes a little bit, it wraps a little bit around here. Because wrap kind of just like wraps around surfaces. Yeah, we're probably gonna be calling it soon once I like mark out what I'm gonna do here. Yeah, this is kind of how it's gonna look. I keep saying that because I want to move on, but then I keep adding more detail. Anyways, so yeah, that's gonna be the main focus light. That's gonna be the blue light coming from here. I'm gonna mark over it, even though we're not gonna keep it. So this is where the main key light is gonna be. Then we have to think about it like a secondary bounce light. So blue, the obvious inverse of that would be orange. Is there any way to make that make sense within the image? Just like a nice orange light. We can say maybe there's like a small like candle glow. We might not need the secondary lighting. Hold on, here it is. I'm gonna put it as another layer, make it a pass through. So the inverse of this would be, I mean, we literally have a color wheel here, so it'd be like here. Now this one I'm less confident in because I don't really think any of this light would show through. I can't think of any source of where this light would be coming from besides maybe like candlelight, and I don't think it would even look good on the character colors that we already have. So, what would work? I guess color dodge? Nope, not that. That looks awful. Linear dodge. Not that. Overlay. Looks better. Screen? Or soft light? How about screen? Hard light. Lower it. I like how it looks on the skin, but it looks terrible on his jacket. Yeah, that kind of works. Something like that. But then the orange is the one I'm having trouble with. We could have like a little bit of glow from below. Another thing that I'm thinking of is maybe it could be like a reflection from the pews themselves. Like they could be like a brighter color, like an orangish, brownish color, and this is like light reflecting off of it. Sometimes the color that you get like reflected onto you is you know, like it kind of reflects exactly what the color is of the environment you're in. That's why usually whenever you're outside, you have like a lot of blue and a lot of yellow. Is blue comes from the sky. You know, if there's a lot of you know, open sky around you, you'll have like a little bit of blue on you. And then, you know, like if you have a lot of direct sunlight, then you have a lot of, you know, that reflecting off of you. That's why you get a lot of the yellow. That, you know, I'm trying to think of like a situation where it would have this because he's in like pretty much like a dark church. Like abandoned is not the right word. It's nighttime, so just there's not a lot of people. This is all on the wrong layer. Love working in the wrong layer. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Sorry, I got lost in playing with the lighting. So we're gonna have to think about what we're gonna do with this secondary light. The initial light, the blue, is 100%. Like that's going to happen. That's perfect. The only other thing I need to think about is like, how is it going to blend in with the color? That's why all of these blending modes have like such an issue with it. Hold on one second. All these different blending modes have such an issue with it. You know, turning it into like this nasty muddy color is just naturally blue and red, and when they mix, it makes it brown. Yeah. Yeah. Hold on, is the opposite of blue red? Wait a second, I have a chart. Where's my chart? Sorry for all the noise, 1 second. About like a little color wheel. But now I have to find it. Why did I put it away? Here it is. Here we go. Color wheel. Let me see how it looks on camera. Sorry for hitting the mic. There we go. Color wheel. All right. So we got a strong like blue light. The complementary color would be orange. Yeah, that's what I thought. Orange. Sorry. Wow, I'm just like flinging it off the camera. Orange. Blue down here. Orange up here. Is this the right way to go about it? I can't think too much or too hard about it right now. Let's see. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna Google real quick what happens whenever you combine complementary colors. I'm pretty sure they turn brown. They cancel each other out, so they make a very muted color. Interesting. Oh, sorry. So yeah, hold on. This is what happens when you combine complementary colors. So this is almost like actually the perfect example, because these colors are what's happening in front of us. So you see this red, this bright red color here. You see this bright blue teal color here. Just the closer they get to each other, the more just muted until they become like pretty much like a perfect gray. So gray isn't what brown isn't what it makes. Gray is what it makes, because they're canceling each other out. They just kind of combine into like a perfect shade right in the middle. You know, not gray 50%. It's going to depend on what colors you're using. So, you know, like if you have a gray that's a, you know, 25% white, and then you use a blue that's like 80% white, you know, they're going to come somewhere in the middle, a gray, once they cancel each other out. Only if it's a perfect blend, you know, like if the colors, you know, if you don't have more red than blue and more blue than red, then they're going to combine into a perfect gray. So that's why he looks this way. 1 second. Where are we? Here we are. Normal. So yeah, that's what's happening here. You can kind of see that it's kind of just like dulling out the color, but it's keeping the same darkness level, or it's combining the two actually. So we have a very bright blue that's combining with a very dark red. So it comes out for not a 50%, but it's mostly that bright blue that you see as far as the lighting level. The color itself is becoming like a complete gray because it's a combination of the two. I think it leans a little bit more towards the red because it's not the perfect complementary. It's a little cooler, or I guess it's a little warmer. I'm not sure. So that's why it's not a perfect gray. This is more of actually like an orangish tan color. Anyways, orange. we'll give that more consideration. But yeah, that's where I know for sure this one. I'm gonna keep that layer there. The song's nice, but the drums are distracting me. They're too active. That is a nice song though. So yeah, that's the plan. We're definitely gonna keep this blue because that's the strongest color. Maybe I'll think about adding like a yellowish or an orangish candlelight somewhere around here. But I'm gonna consider that in the background between streams. Holy crap! Wait a second. Is next week the last Wednesday of the week? It is the last Tuesday of the week. Oh my goodness, we're already that far. I need to read a lot of more of these comics so I can empty them out finally. So yeah, blue. That's gonna be the focus on the color. Trying to think if there's anything else. Let me grab this blue. I just want to put a bit of sheen on the glasses, just for fun. But yeah, this is what we're going to be doing for the next stream, but in black and white. This is what we're going to be doing the rendering, so thinking about how the light's going to hit everything. So that's why we need. I'm going to need some time off stream in order to really consider like all the areas that the light is going to hit, and maybe do a little bit of a different like kind of shading. Maybe consider like a new process of how we do the rendering and the flats and everything. Also in the meantime. Otherwise, we're just probably going to do the same rendering that we usually do. Anyways. Yeah. Let me undo all that. Not all that. I think maybe just the lines just before that. Maybe like right there. I think we're going to call that done. In the meantime, this guy. This is very stupid. I'm gonna make a copy of this. What did I just do? Hello? Why is it not letting me move anything? 1 second, I think my card is crashing. Worst case scenario, if it does crash, I'll be working on it off stream. But right now it is completely like locked. It is not letting me do anything. What is happening? Oh, there we go. That scared the crap out of me. All right, we're gonna duplicate. Turn one of them off. All right, here's what I'm thinking. How do we make this a little better? I am committing crimes digitally. I apologize to the Mualadib. There we go. Whoa, easy there. There we go. There we go. Looking good. Looking real good. Go on. Can I mute? Okay. I don't know if I mute correctly, but I also can't shut up, so it wouldn't work for me. There we go. Now we're there. All right, we're going to close that up. This is so stupid. I don't know why I'm doing this. I just can't help myself. Whenever you're struck with inspiration, whenever you have a muse, you just have to, you know? Some people use their work for good. I am not one of those people. I only think in terrible, terrible memes that only I will enjoy. What would you do in this situation, yeah? What would you do if he looked at you with those bright blue eyes, full of spice, and he just looked at you and just gave you the finger? What would you do? You gonna say no? You gonna try to interrupt him? You gonna dare keep speaking while the Maladib mogs you? I don't think so. I think you're done. I think you're finished. I think you just gotta watch and learn at this point. That's about as far as they can go. All right, we're gonna call it a night. The Maladib has spoken, or rather, the Maladib has mogged. All right, he's telling Omar to shush. It's like a library. Library. Living life on the prairie. All right, one moment. So yeah, that's what we're gonna call it. Like I said, I'm gonna have to consider where we're gonna be what we're gonna be doing with the lighting. We got like at least the big part of the lighting done. We might not need a reflective light, but it's kind of just something I'm trying to add to really just make it more dynamic. I did it with the last drawing really easily. This drawing is gonna be a little bit more tough, but that's fine. You know, we'll figure it out. I'll look into it, see what my options are. Yeah. So we finished the flats. We got a little bit more line art edited, and then we have the rendering just barely mapped out. But that's good for a really quick stream. So next week we're gonna be doing the rest of the figuring out the rest of the lighting. Hopefully I would have figured it out by next week, and then also do the rendering of actually getting the shadows in black and white finished out. Or I'll have like some other plan for what we're gonna do. But right now that's the plan as of right now. Next week I am going to be here 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, unless something happens where I'm just, you know, like I get home really late. If I'm not on by like 7, I probably won't be on. Because tomorrow I am going to be out of town, and then usually I get back on time and I'm able to do it, but sometimes I do get back a little late, so we'll just have to see. Thank you for anybody who's here. Thank you for anybody that's watching the archives that's going to go up later. I'm trying to think if there's anything I want to do before I do like the final sign off. No, we're pretty much good. We're just going to keep working. We're just going to keep chugging along with this. Again, like I said, I do have after this drawing, we are going to move on to other just like personal little pieces, more whim of thought kind of thing. I have at least 2 pieces that I have like planned out of what I want to draw. So that's what we're going to be working on later. But for this piece, this is going to be the final vampire out of, 3 different sections? I think I did all of these in pieces. But yeah, sorry. This is going to be the last one of this section of vampires. Then there's going to be 3 more, then we're done. So last one of this section, we do a couple drawings just to mix things up, and then we're gonna go right back into vampires once I've kind of like stretched out my legs enough, and we're finally gonna finish up all these vampires. But yeah, that's the plan. No, that's pretty much it. Thank you for anybody who's here today. Whether it's we were able to see it live, or whether you were able to watch the archive that's going to go up later on the YouTube channel. I really appreciate anybody that spends time with me, just like hanging out, chilling, and just seeing my work. That's the most important part for me. Like, I just really like when people are able to see what I do and enjoy it. You know, like I like when people can enjoy the work with me. But like I said, whether or not you were able to catch it live, or whether or not you're gonna have to watch the archive later, I just really appreciate any time you spend with me. Make sure to check out my Instagram. That's where I usually keep things most up to date. So if you want to see my artwork or whatever else I'm working on, you'll be able to see it there. Wasn't able to post anything this week. I've been too lazy to work on any of the drawings. I have a bunch in my backlog. I just need to actually edit them and get them ready for posting. But yeah, I hope, I don't want to make any promises, but I hope next week I'll actually get something done, but we'll just have to see. So yeah, check out my Instagram. That's where gonna update anything that's going on with me, my art, or my life. So, you know, just keep an eye on that. I would appreciate a follow, appreciate a heart, any of those little things. Just goes a long way to make me feel appreciated. The Instagram algorithm isn't great for being noticed, so, you know, whatever you can do to just help me out. Just, you know, just give me a little bit of attention, just a little bit of attention. Trying to make it out anywhere as an artist, kind of lame, kind of cringe, if I'm going to be honest. Check out my 2 YouTube channels. I have 2, yeah. I'm getting flustered for no reason. I have 2 YouTube channels. So I have one that's the archive, which is just the full stream uploaded onto YouTube for posterity. If you want to watch it on your own time, if you weren't able to catch it live, you can go do so there. Or if you don't have the time to watch a full stream, you can go ahead to the second channel, which is the time-lapse channel. So if you want to watch the entire stream edited down into maybe like a 5-minute time-lapse, where you can just see the progress that I make, that's going to be linked down below as well. So, you know, just choose whichever one's your preference of being able to catch up or being able to watch everything on your own time. Either one, give it a like, give it a subscription, subscribe, like, hit the notification bell. I don't care about the notification bell. You can do whatever you want with that. I don't turn on the notification bells for anybody. But, you know, like I mentioned, just whatever you want to do to help. Just choose whichever one you prefer. Anyways, if you would like to see some of my older artwork, you can also check out my DeviantArt. I'm pretty active on there. I do check it out at least once a day, just to see, you know, like new art and kind of be inspired. It's just always where I've been since like 2013. It's just where I hang out and just collect a bunch of reference material from other artists and see what they're doing. So yeah, if you want to shoot me a message on there, feel free to, but I can't guarantee you any response. It's not a very great platform for actually meeting people and that kind of thing. If you want to message me, go ahead and check out my Instagram, or I also have my email for commissions down below. Trying to think what else. Or I guess just catch me live. Catching me live is probably the easy way to directly communicate with me, because I'm literally in this chair for like 2 hours at least. So, you know, that's probably the easiest place to harangue me if you want to. Please don't. And sorry, DeviantArt. That's where a lot of my old work is, and sometimes if I feel like a work isn't good enough to post onto the Instagram for like a full finished piece, it'll sometimes go up on my DeviantArt channel, so keep an eye on that. It's a little behind as far as how many artworks I've posted on there, but I'll get back to posting on there once I have a little bit more of a backlog to upload. I think I only have like maybe 5 or 6 pieces behind. But yeah, check out my DeviantArt. A lot of my old pieces from like middle school and high school are also on there. And then, like I said, I'm also pretty active on there. So if you want to check that out, feel free to go ahead. You know, I also like attention. I like attention anywhere. You know, reach out to me on there, over there if you'd like to as well. If you would like me to do a piece of art for you as far as like a commission goes, if you would like me to do art like you see right in front of you, for Vampire the Masquerade or Dungeons and Dragons, I've done dozens of Dungeons and Dragons commissions. Go ahead and check out the chart down below. Those are my rates. If you don't understand something or you want to discuss a different rate, we can talk about it over email, which is linked down below, or over my Instagram DMs. Just include a little bit of information about you or my art that you like. That way I can tell that it's not a bot. I get a ton of bot emails from all these places, so it just goes a long way of, you know, if you actually want me to believe that you're a real human being, include like an actual, like, you know, hey, here's this thing about the character that I want, you know, like, here's what I think is going on, you know, just expound a little bit more than just like, hi, you know, I met you from this website. It's like, that's not gonna, you know, that's what the bots say, so I'm just not gonna talk to it. These websites, I don't know why bots are so prevalent. It's really obnoxious, and it makes it like impossible to meet new people. So anyways, check out that down below. And then if you don't want to go through the process of you know, setting up an entire commission, and you just want to make a quick one-time donation, you can also see my PayPal link down below. Like I said, just whatever you can do. I'm not strained for pennies, or, you know, like, I'm not desperate for money, but whatever you can go to help me, you know, transition to maybe making this a full-time thing. You know, if any of the money that I would get through those donations would go into making me a more long-term artist here on Twitch, or improving the stream quality. You know, like, I could always improve the camera, could always improve the lighting, could always improve the microphone. But, you know, I would like to actually know if, you know, there would be people who would appreciate it and, you know, put money down on it. It's just very appreciated. Just the willingness to put any kind of money towards my art. Like, it's hard to explain how much that means to people like me, for people to be willing to put money down on it. But anyways, if you don't want to do that, if you just want to hang out, if you just want to chill, if you just want to send a like, if you just want to follow me on any of my social media, yeah, all those little things that you can do can really go a long way of making me feel appreciated. This song is a little distracting for me in my ears, but we're at the end of the stream, so I don't feel like changing it. Anyways, for the final time, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for being here. Like I said, next week I'll be here 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, at the latest 7 p.m. Next week. We're gonna get on with the rendering, getting the shadows and everything else worked out. Excuse me. So yeah, thank you for being here, whether it's live or whether you're catching up on the archive. I really appreciate everybody just hanging out. Bye. I think that's everything. Yeah, that's gotta be everything. All right, bye. You have a good night.